Have you ever woken up one morning and realized the people you thought would always be there may not be? The son who once called every weekend now has meetings, children, and responsibilities of his own. The sibling you grew up leaning on is suddenly the one needing help. The friends who filled your evenings with laughter are no longer around to answer the phone. It's a truth that no one prepares us for that after 70. The support system we trusted most begins to fade. It's not betrayal, it's life. But the shock of that realization can feel like a cold wind through an open door. Who do you rely on when family is absent? Who steadies you when the circle grows smaller and silence feels louder than words? The answer is both unsettling and liberating. Your greatest support may not be family at all. It may come from within you, from places you've overlooked until now. And once you see this clearly, aging no longer feels like a decline, it feels like a discovery. If you find these truths meaningful, please subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell. Your support helps us bring you more videos like this. Question for you. A. Do you believe family is always the strongest support after 70? B. Or do you believe true support must be built within yourself? Comment A or B below. When people picture strength, they often think of youth, firm muscles, fast legs, boundless energy. But after 70, strength has a new definition. It is not about competition or achievement. It is about the freedom to move through your day without waiting for someone else to lift, carry, or guide you. Physical mobility becomes the quiet foundation of independence. Without it, even simple acts making tea, stepping outside, or reaching for a dish can feel impossible. With it, those same acts become victories, proof that your body is still your own and your life still belongs to you. Mobility shapes your spirit as much as your body. One of the deepest fears of aging is becoming a burden. Every independent step reduces that fear. Every stretch or movement whispers reassurance. I can still do this. That confidence does more than keep you moving. It protects your dignity. Mobility is not luck, it is built in the small choices of each day. The body, even in later years, responds to use. Muscles strengthen, balance improves, joints stay alive. Walk down the hallway, stretch in the morning, use light resistance bands. Each small act tells your body it is still needed, and your body answers by carrying you farther. I once met Harold, 78, who walks every morning with a cane. When asked why he never skips, he said, "The day I stop walking is the day I start waiting for someone to care for me. And I don't want to wait, I want to live." His routine isn't perfect, but it preserves his freedom. Margaret, 76, practices Tai Chi daily. For her, the slow movements are a conversation with her body. "I remind myself each day," she said, "that I still belong in the world." Their stories show that mobility is more than exercise, it is belonging, dignity, and connection. Neglecting mobility leads to something worse than stiffness: shrinking. You decline invitations because you fear the trip. You avoid gatherings because of stares. Slowly, the world grows smaller, not because you lack interest, but because you fear you cannot manage. That is not aging, it is surrender. And surrender is not inevitable. You can choose to fight back, one step at a time. It is never too late. Even if your legs ache, even if you use a cane, motion is medicine. Begin small, stretch while your coffee brews, walk one more lap around the house. Stand tall at the window and breathe deeply. Each choice builds a stronger foundation beneath you. Over time, that foundation carries you farther than you expect. Mobility gives more than movement. It gives confidence to accept invitations, courage to face the day, and freedom to live on your terms. At 70, 80, or 90, your body can still be your ally if you care for it. Invest in it, and it will return the favor. Protect it, and it will protect you. This is not about running marathons. It is about knowing every step you take is your own. In that knowledge lies a strength that no one can take away. After mobility, the next foundation that steadies life after 70 is not measured in steps or strength, but in clarity. It is financial simplicity, and it holds more weight than many realize. At this stage of life, peace of mind is not about the size of your bank account. It is about knowing where you stand, living within your means, and freeing yourself from the mental burden of confusion. Money worries at 70 can keep you awake longer than pain in your knees. They do not just touch your wallet, they press on your spirit. Complicated finances become chains, pulling you into anxiety each time a bill arrives or a statement goes unread. Clarity, on the other hand, unlocks calm. Too often, older adults carry financial clutter like an invisible weight. Multiple credit cards, old accounts, automatic subscriptions, scattered papers in drawers, each small mess becomes a reminder of vulnerability. And when you feel vulnerable with money, you feel vulnerable everywhere. But simplifying is not about giving up control, it is about gaining it. Downsizing a home, streamlining bills, canceling what you no longer use, these are not losses. They are choices that return ownership of your life. They make each day lighter, each decision easier. I remember speaking with Lorraine, a 74-year-old widow, who once described how terrified she felt to open her mailbox. Each envelope was a reminder of bills, statements, and obligations she did not fully understand. After her husband passed, she sat with a financial counselor, and together they cut away what no longer served her. She moved into a smaller house, closed unnecessary accounts, kept only one credit card, and canceled every subscription she didn't touch. She told me afterward, "I used to feel dread at the sound of the mail. Now I open every letter with a steady heart." What changed was not the numbers in her account, but the clarity of her system. Simplicity gave her freedom. Financial simplicity is not only practical, it is deeply psychological. Many older adults live under the shadow of questions they never say aloud. Will I outlive my savings? Will I have enough for care if I fall ill? What happens if I cannot keep up? These questions create a silent storm inside the mind, eroding peace. But when you know exactly where your money is going, when you can explain your system in one breath, the storm passes. You replace fear with understanding, and that understanding gives you dignity. Samuel, an 80-year-old retiree, once told me how much of his life had been stolen by financial worry. Even with modest savings, he felt suffocated by the tangle of accounts and bills. With his daughter's help, he simplified everything. One checking account, one savings, no debt, and no loose ends. "I didn't realize," he said, "how much space money worries were taking up in my head until they were gone." His story is not about wealth, it is about liberation. When the mind is freed from worry, the heart has room for peace. This is the overlooked truth. In later years, simplicity is wealth. The fewer moving parts, the less you depend on others to explain or manage them for you. You do not have to wait for your son to untangle a bill. You do not need to fear small mistakes turning into disasters. You can stand as the captain of your own ship, steering with confidence even in quieter waters. If your finances feel overwhelming today, remember that it does not require grand action to reclaim control. Cancel one subscription, consolidate 2 accounts, write down every expense for a week. Small steps create momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Soon the fear of money fades into the background, replaced by a quiet assurance, "I can manage this." And in that assurance lies one of the greatest supports of aging, not the promise of riches, but the peace of knowing you already have enough. After clarity with money, the next support that steadies you in later life comes not from what you own, but from how you live each day. It is your health routine, the rhythm of habits that keep your body strong and your mind steady, and it is your emotional resilience, the unseen armor that allows you to withstand storms without breaking. These two forces together create a safety net that is stronger than any promise others can make to you. A routine may sound ordinary, even dull, but in old age it becomes a quiet declaration. I still care for myself, I still matter. The body thrives on rhythm. When you rise each morning and drink a glass of water, when you walk at the same hour, when you take your medication on time, you are not simply following tasks. You are reminding yourself that you are alive, capable, and in control. Without routine, the day drifts. Hours blur, energy dips, and the sense of purpose dissolves. With routine, you know where you stand. You remove decision fatigue. You do not waste strength on wondering if you should act. You simply act. And that builds confidence, the kind that keeps you from slipping into dependence too soon. I once spoke with Frank, an 81-year-old former electrician. Every morning he makes a cup of green tea, spends 15 minutes stretching in his chair, takes his medicine, and walks around the block for half an hour. Rain or shine, he rarely misses a day. He told me, "It's not about exercise, it's about proving to myself each morning that I still count." That sentence reveals the true power of routine. It is not only physical maintenance, it is identity. It ties you back to yourself, reminding you that your existence is valuable and your actions still have weight. But even the strongest routines cannot stop life from bringing loss. That is where emotional resilience becomes essential. Emotional resilience does not mean avoiding pain or pretending grief does not exist. It means allowing sadness to move through you without letting it destroy you. It is the difference between carrying a heavy stone for a while and letting it bury you under its weight. By 70, most people have endured loss of a partner, of friends, of health, of roles that once defined them. Some crumble, seeing each loss as the end of their story. Others bend but do not break. What separates them is resilience. I remember Eileen, a 77-year-old woman who lost her husband 5 years earlier. She told me about her nightly ritual. She lights a single candle at dusk. "I'm not religious," she said, "but that flame reminds me that I'm still here. Some nights I cry, some nights I smile, but I always tell myself, you made it through today." That small act gave her strength. It was not denial of her pain, but recognition of it, balanced with a choice not to let it define her. This is the essence of resilience, to feel fully and yet move forward with dignity. Psychologically, resilience rewires the brain. It teaches the nervous system not to overreact. It slows your thoughts, steadies your breathing, and convinces you that you can face tomorrow, no matter how uncertain. And in older age, when uncertainty surrounds you, that confidence is priceless. Without resilience, every small disappointment cuts deeply: a missed call from your child, a canceled plan, a sudden ache in your body. With resilience, you see these for what they are: temporary shifts, not permanent defeats. Building resilience is not mysterious. It begins with awareness. Speak to yourself with kindness. Give your emotions room to exist without shame. Create grounding rituals. Write a few sentences in a notebook, walk among trees, listen to music that stirs your heart. Each of these is a thread, and together they weave a net that catches you when life shakes you. A steady routine and resilient heart are the twin supports that keep you upright when so much else feels uncertain. They reduce the need to rely on others, not because you refuse help, but because you do not crumble without it. They allow you to live not as someone waiting for rescue, but as someone who can say with confidence, "I still stand, I still endure, and I still choose to live." After resilience, there remains one final support that rises above circumstances, a force so quiet yet so unshakable that it defines who you are when everything else has shifted. It is your personal code of values. At 70 or 80, when roles you once carried no longer define you, when you are no longer the busy parent, the worker with a title, or the partner tending a household, what remains is the essence of your choices. Values are not given by others. They are built in silence, shaped by years of living, and they become the compass that guides you no matter how uncertain the path ahead. Too often, older adults lose their sense of direction because they had lived by external expectations. They worked to satisfy employers, cared for children to meet family duty, conformed to the expectations of society. These roles gave structure, but when they fade, many are left staring at the mirror wondering, who am I now? A personal code answers that question with clarity. It says, I am still me. My worth does not depend on who notices me or who approves of me. My worth lives in how I choose to act, in the principles I refuse to abandon. I once met Howard, a man in his early 80s, who described his life in 5 simple rules. Tell the truth, return what you borrow, waste nothing, forgive quickly, and sleep with a clear conscience. He is not wealthy, nor surrounded by family, yet he moves through each day with a dignity that is hard to ignore. His code is not written on paper but etched into his choices, and it shields him from regret. Even when people fail him, even when life disappoints him, he never questions himself because he already knows what the right thing is for him. That is the gift of a personal code. It steadies you when the world trembles. Living by values simplifies decisions. You no longer lie awake wondering if you did enough, if you acted properly. You already know because you acted according to the principles you set for yourself. Honesty, kindness, responsibility, simplicity, curiosity, whatever your code may be, it eliminates confusion, and clarity brings peace. Psychologists who study aging often find that seniors with strong guiding values report higher satisfaction and lower anxiety. Their minds remain sharper, their hearts calmer. They are less reactive to conflict because their foundation lies within, not in the shifting approval of others. This does not mean your code must be grand or complex. It might be as small as greeting each sunrise with gratitude, refusing to gossip, always showing kindness to a stranger, or keeping a spirit of learning alive. What matters is that these values are yours, not borrowed, not imposed. They are the quiet laws you live by, the thread of integrity that weaves your life together. When you can look back at 80 and say, I lived according to what I believed, that is success, no matter what else the world thinks. And this is why a personal code becomes the final, unshakable support. Unlike money, it cannot be lost. Unlike the body, it cannot weaken with time. Unlike family, it cannot drift away. It is internal, constant, and deeply personal. It allows you to face uncertainty without fear, because you are not guided by the opinions of others, but by the compass of your own soul. So as you stand in these later years, ask yourself, what are the principles that matter most to me? What truths do I want to carry into each day? The answers need not impress anyone. They only need to steady you, to give you peace when the night is quiet and no one else is there. Because in the end, the greatest triumph is not being remembered by many, but being able to remember yourself with pride. That is the kind of support that never fades, the foundation that carries you through the final chapters with dignity, calm, and a clear heart.